Good Saturday morning and welcome to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Executive Randy Porter, the show that's talking about all the great things happening in our community. Hope you had a great Christmas and New Year. It's time to start a new 2019. But before we do, I want to take a look back at what a great year we had in 2018. To do that, I have my special guest with me today, Mr. George Halford, CEO of the Cookeville-Putnam County Chamber of Commerce, and Mr. Marty Mainord of American Bank and Trust, who is also the chairman of the Chamber Board. Welcome, gentlemen, and thank you for being on the show.
Glad to be here.
Thank you, Randy. Thanks
Hope
for having
everybody
us.
had a good New Year.
Happy New Year.
Right.
Good. I want us to look back today on some of the great and even historical things that happened in our county in 2018. You know, as I was creating a list for the show today, it made me realize even more how great 2018 actually was for the county, and maybe the best that I've seen since I've been in office and in several years. What's your take, George?
Same thing. The other thing is we all talk about, economic development is a long-range program.
Mm-hmm.
We've been about in this city and county and this region for some time now, getting ready, getting prepared, learning how to win, infrastructure, and I don't know in my lifetime, and I've been doing this I'm long in the tooth. I don't know. I've been doing this a long time. I don't know if I have ever seen the economic development we've had this last year.
It's been unbelievable.
It's phenomenal.
Marty, you're in the banking business. Do you see it coming through the banking side also?
See it the same way, yes. It's the real estate, the boom, the jobs. It's good all the way around. And it's been fun to be part of the team and work with you guys and experience this.
You hit on something. I think we all agree that the reason that we have done so well in Putnam County is because of that team mentality when it comes to all the elected officials, city, county, chamber, all the businesses, banks, tech, hospital, everybody working together as a team. I think we all go back and say that's a reason for a lot of our success. Do you agree?
Yeah, and your citizens may not all understand, because they have no reason to, that we're no different than American Bank and Trust or McDonald. No, we're a company. We have a product that we sell. We develop a product, which is our quality of life, our community, and then we go out and market that product. We're no different, I'd like to think, than Alabama maybe. You know, Nick Saban. We have a team here,
right?
And when we play well together and work together, good things happen.
Great things happen.
I've never been involved and privileged to serve on such a team. I'll just tell you, thank you for what you do, Randy, the county, the city. I'm going to leave the Tennessee Tech, the hospital, our industries, our chamber, and I know I'm leaving people out, but it's just a team effort, isn't it, Marty?
Yeah, absolutely. And from my view as a volunteer, being on the chamber board and having the pleasure to serve as chair this year, I've seen that firsthand, you know, working with Randy and Mayor Shelton and the council and the commission and the chamber and tech and the hospital, but everybody working together. It's been really cool to see how it works, and we can't forget that that's the key, I think, to our success.
No
Absolutely, we don't want to take that for granted ever. I picked out some topics I think that we would talk about today, and for us, we live it every day, and for some of our listeners, they may forget about some of the great things that's happened in 2018. I thought the first one we talk about is the building boom. We just finished up looking at the past 12 months on our building in Putnam County. We had 340 building permits for $44.4 million in the last 12 months. That's out in the rural part of the county. That's not including the cities.
Wow.
Out of that 340 permits, 202 of those were for new single-family residential homes.
That's terrific.
And in the past 4 years, since January 2015, we've had 700 new homes built out in the county. And I got the city stats today also. They've had 491 permits for $226 million, which a lot of that dollar figure goes to all the buildings going on at TTU and the shops at Eagle Point, which increases the dollar amount considerably. But all those new homes and businesses, I know as long as I've been in county government for a long time and being the 911 director for years, I signed all the new addresses for all the new homes being built. Never have I saw anything like this in the county.
It's been
Marty,
amazing.
you see it through the bank loans and everything.
Yeah, it's been amazing, and it helps so many. You know, it helps the county and the city with the tax base and all that. But you know, realtors and attorneys and appraisers and home inspectors, You know, when this many homes are being built, it's far-reaching. It really has a big impact on our community.
On our economy and our community in general.
Sure does.
You retail.
Wow. Wow.
When I started trying to name all the new businesses that had opened, I called Diane that works for George at the chamber and sets up all the ribbon cuttings and everything for all the new businesses coming in. I had 46 ribbon cuttings on my calendar last year. I know that was a record for me in the 4 years I've been in office, and I can't imagine that we've ever had that many before. We're not talking about just the big box stores. We had the shops at Eagle Point with all those new stores, Academy and Public Ross, all those. We had a huge number of small businesses that were opening and created, not only in Cookeville, but in all the cities and around in the county. And George, you went to a lot of those ribbon cuttings. Have you saw a time before that we had as many new businesses opening up in 1 year?
No, I haven't, and I think it's important for the audience to know that not everybody chooses to have a ribbon cutting. And, you know, with there are a lot of ribbon cuttings that take place and a lot of openings that we aren't a part of. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's just timing and situations. So, no, I've never seen anything. But again, I think all of us have this goal. More and more, we want to give our citizens less and less reason to leave our community.
That's right.
To go to other communities. I'm talking about outside of our county,
right,
and certainly outside of our region, secondarily. But we don't need to fund Mount Juliet schools, or their roads, and they're wonderful, doesn't it? But isn't it nice to go to an Academy Sports on a Saturday night, like my wife and I did? That used to, you'd be going to.
You had to spend a whole day traveling to Nashville or somewhere.
These are tax dollars that are staying here. Jobs are staying here, and we're increasing the quality of life where more and more companies, industries and businesses are going to want to locate here because the quality of life is higher. So it's an exciting time to have this dynamic happening.
Great. And all these companies, it's new jobs for people too.
That's key.
That's right.
And we want to hit on that in our next segment. You're listening to Today in Putnam County on News Talk 107.7 and 1400 The Hub. I'm Randy Porter, your host. We're talking with George Halford and Marty Mainord with the Chamber this morning about all the great things that happened in 2018. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Executive Randy Porter, the show that's talking about all the great things happening in our community. Hope you're having a great Saturday morning. My special guests this morning are George Halford and Marty Mainord with the Chamber of Commerce, and we're talking about all the great things that happened in 2018. We kind of got started just a little bit in the last segment about jobs, and when you start looking over, not just in 2018, but over the last 4 years, thousands of new jobs coming into Putnam County. We had the largest announcement in Putnam County history recently, George, for Putnam County and Baxter, bringing in a new luxury tile company, Portobello, bringing in about 230 new jobs and $150 million in investment.
That's amazing.
It is.
You go back further than I do, and I'm not saying that in a bad way with the Chamber. Anything like that ever happened in Putnam County before?
No, Academy Sports, great. Gosh, what a great, we thought, that is a huge,
we thought it was
$100 million.
Yes.
And to have a $150 million company, you know, and we're seeing, and activity is still going. We haven't slowed down. We really, the economy is bright, the future. Our key, and I'm sure we'll talk about this, workforce development, make sure we have the quality, the workforce.
Yes, and for our listeners, a lot of folks probably don't realize on a weekly basis we're receiving requests from companies and from the state looking to move to Tennessee, Putnam County, Cookeville, wherever it may be, that we're answering all the time. I've been amazed at how many of those there were in 2018.
Yes.
And trying to keep up. Of course, we have Stephen at the Chamber, Stephen Crook, that's our Economic Development Vice President, I think.
Yes.
And sees those every day. Melinda Kiefer at the city that heads up our economic development for the city, and again, working as a team to do that.
Certainly you're on as a point, our key point at the county level with your team. So
sometimes it's so exciting to see and hear about all of those, and a lot of those we can't say anything about.
That's right.
It's confidential until it comes to the time to announce, which was like Portobello was. But as I started looking back over 2018, ribbon cutting for Automation Tool, $60,000, 60,000 square foot high-tech addition, that created over 100 new jobs. We had the groundbreaking in the Highland Business Park for Colorobia, new tile servicing company that came in. That was about 30 jobs. We had SAIC moving into the Regions Bank building with over 300 new jobs, and they're hiring the tech grads.
IT industry.
Yes, IT industry, computer engineer folks. And then the shops at Eagle Point, over 600 new jobs coming in there. I mean, I started adding them up. We're at about 1,000 new jobs for 2018.
Just in 2018.
Just
alone.
in 1 year.
And I think it was something like 4,000 in the last few years. So
In the last 4 years, I think.
It's incredible.
It's unbelievable. And I've said that our unemployment, it may be at 2.7 or 2.8 or whatever. We're fully employed, aren't we?
If you want to work, you can work right now in Putnam County. And I think it's important to know too, like companies like ATC and SAIC, those are higher paying jobs.
Yes,
Those
absolutely.
really make a big difference when you raise the median wage, and that starts impacting quality of life.
I think Automation 2 hired 100 engineers. And then SAIC, our listeners, again, it's the quality of the jobs. Those are 300 IT jobs, $60,000 a year up.
Yeah, our young people now going to Tennessee Tech or the local two-year schools, they don't have to go to Nashville or Knoxville for an IT job.
No, it's like
they can stay right here.
And that's our goal too, isn't it?
It's like Dr. Odom said, we got the state's premier technological university. We graduate over 30% of the state's engineers, IT, and yet our students were coming here or stay, but they had to go elsewhere for the jobs. The jobs were in these other communities. So we're keeping our folks at home.
That's our goal.
Right.
We want those folks to graduate
raising per
Tech,
capita income, increasing the quality of life, where they don't have to leave here to go other
stay
places.
here in Putnam County, and we've done a great job, I think, so far. It's just making sure that we continue that going forward. We're talking with George Halford and Marty Mainord this morning of the Cookeville-Putnam County Chamber of Commerce about all the great things that happened in 2018, and we've talked about the building boom and the new retail. George, you're like I am. I know you love to eat.
Like.
This has been the year for the restaurants, hasn't it? Unbelievable with all the new restaurants that we had opened with the shops at Eagle Point, the Panera Breads and Panda Express, Five Guys Burgers, Chipotle, Popeyes. Then we had some locals, Romo's, 37-seater, all those places. I don't remember a time in my years here in Putnam County that we ever had that many choices
No.
coming in.
No, we've got we have an entertainment district here, and we don't have to leave here and go to bigger places. You can stay right here and do most everything that you can do in the bigger places, as far as dining out, brew pubs, dining out, retail. So we're creating a quality of life here that is going to improve our ability to create jobs.
We all go back to a time, I think, when it was a fun trip to drive to Nashville to go eat.
Not as much fun.
Not as much fun anymore, is it?
You don't
You
have
stay
to do it
here
anymore. You can stay right here.
with all the choices that we have.
And from what it appears, they're all busy also.
They are.
all seem like they're doing really well.
They're setting records. I mean, we've heard that, and that's been the history of our community, going back to Olive Garden, or going back to Old Charlie's, or going back to the companies underestimate our market because
They do.
the density of population.
Every one of the managers I talked to at the shops at Eagle Point were amazed after they opened. They all said they broke records or went up way above their expectations of what they thought they were going to do. And I heard someone say over the weekend, just in the last few days, that New Year's, they drove down Restaurant Row, Interstate Drive, and they thought everybody must be out eating. But there's so many choices now.
right.
The parking lots were all full, and that's great for our economy, great for sales tax and everything. We got about a minute left in this segment. When we start looking at also, we had a historical thing happen in one of our cities this year. Monterey turned 125 years old.
Nice.
We just celebrated Putnam County's anniversary of 175 years a couple years ago. Now Monterey's 125. We have really, when we start looking countywide, we have a little bit of all of it, don't we?
We do.
When it comes to Cookeville and all the retail and the shops and all those things here, but we have all those natural resources. We just announced B-Rock that
Yes.
Mr. Bobby Walker had donated that land to Monterey to preserve as a park up there. Starting to see Monterey, they're getting a new Taco Bell and they got a new drugstore, and Putnam County's building up there. No offense,
No,
Marty,
it's a great
but
thing for that community. It's
right.
a great building, an operations center there.
yes, and it's going to do great things. So we're seeing all of our cities and county boom. It's not just in one place.
No, it's not. Monterey's our mountain town.
It is.
And for flatlanders, which is anybody, west of Nashville, when you get east of Nashville, you get to Putnam County, you're in the mountains.
You're in the mountains,
To a lot of
yeah.
people, even though
Yeah.
people say, no, the mountains are the Smokies. No. To flatlanders, we're in the mountains
in the
right now.
mountains.
We have got a lot to be thankful for.
We really do. You're listening to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Executive Randy Porter. We're talking to Mr. Marty Mainord and Mr. George Halford from the Cookeville Chamber. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Executive Randy Porter, the show that's talking about all the great things happening in our community. Hope you're having a great Saturday
Hold on a
morning.
second, please. You're on the air.
Welcome back to Today in Putnam County. I'm your host, County Executive Randy Porter. The show's talking about all the great things happening in our community. My special guests this morning are George Halford and Marty Mainord of the Chamber of Commerce, and we've been talking about all the great things happening in 2018, guys. We got to talk about tourism.
No question.
Unbelievable at what that does for our economy, and 2018 was a record-breaking year for us in Putnam County with tourism. My favorite event, and there was a lot of them, but my favorite event was the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall.
Yes.
We had over 30,000 people come to our community and visit in a 4-day period, and unbelievable, such a tribute to our veterans, to the people that fought in those in the Vietnam War, and for just our veterans in general. We had a special dinner for them and honored all those folks. Our 5th year for Run for the Wall. Unbelievable when it comes to tourism at how many people are coming to visit us on a day-to-day basis, George.
Yes, it is, and back to Run for the Wall, it's the only overnight stay. This is the only sanctioned group, a motorcycle group, in Arlington Cemetery, and so they go from L.A. I think to D.C. is for Memorial Day, and they're there, and the only place they stay is here, and it is one of the most emotional, gratifying events that I look forward to every year. And it's just wonderful. So it's there's a lot of people. Again, tourism is sort of you don't see it. There's 40 to 50,000 people coming up and down the interstate. We've got 1,600 hotel rooms. We got waterfalls and hike and I call mountains, lakes. So these people come and spend money and go home. We don't have to educate their kids. We don't have to build water, sewer. We don't have to do the infrastructure. Right. It's the best. It's the purest form of economic development. Is tourism.
Got a couple of new hotels being built, so you can see the impact it's having on the community.
And there was a time, maybe Holiday Inn and a couple of others, with all we had when it comes to hotels. I think you're right, Marty. I think it speaks to the volumes about the people that are coming and staying here. And when you talk to our hotelers, they're full most of the time, especially on weekends. And I know we got about 1,400 hotel rooms and adding some more, but that's great. But we had the Southern Cruisers Riding Club this year, the Cookeville Motorcycle Classic. We had the National AMA Hill Climb Championship down in Buffalo Valley.
That's right. And
huge for that area of the county. We're in our 10th year TWSAA football playoffs, and all those people that are traveling and coming here, and our tourism folks, Zach and Molly at the Chamber, shout out to them. They do a great job. They got an award recently and was recognized on a statewide basis. They just do a tremendous job, but that's a tough job continually marketing our community nationwide.
We are a tourist destination area. Our Dollywood is our outdoors. It's our natural fit. People come here and for our outdoors, and so again, it's something that the average citizen might not see daily, because these people are coming here, spending money, and leaving. So you don't see a new industry, a building going up. But of course, you see the hotels, and we see the
restaurants and the retail and all those kind of things.
Sometimes we can take it for advantage because some of us grew up here and we see it all the time. But people travel here to enjoy the lakes and the rivers and the mountains and the hiking and all that.
I hear the park rangers talking about Burgess Falls and the long lines there are on the weekends just to get in to see Burgess Falls. I mean, I think they had like 250,000 people or something that visited Burgess Falls last year. It's a great area, great hike and everything, but it's amazing.
And now Cummins Falls, 5 years old, 6, 7, is don't hold me to these numbers. 350, 400,000 people. We're trying to handle the crowds now, because there's so many.
And even though it sits in the edge of Jackson County, it still affects and benefits our community. It really does. One thing I want to make sure we catch before we run out of time, you had an historical moment this year at the Chamber.
We did.
Tell us a little bit about that.
We have a wonderful chamber that's been around for a long time. So this is not about modern day, but we've been building on the foundation. We've hit 1,000-member Chamber of Commerce.
Wow.
90% of our members employ less than 20 people. We're a small business organization. A lot of people don't realize it, but we're recognized as one of the top chambers, and it's just because of people like you and Marty. It's our public-private partnerships. It's our business community. We're the working health. Okay, you gave a lot of credit a while ago to our staff, and we have a great staff, but I tell you, the people that make this thing go to is our volunteer leadership and our support of our governments. But it's a major. It is. It really is.
Marty, did you ever think when you became the chamber president, or when you started, you've been involved with the chamber for a while, that we'd see 1,000 members?
I did. And we have to give a shout out to Diane Callahan.
Please, Diane Callahan.
She was determined to reach that milestone, and we didn't have any choice. We were.
When Diane says you're going to do it, for those folks that may not know Diane, when she cracks her whip, says it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
You're going to do it.
Diane's got some other plans for us too coming up this year.
She's a great lady. She makes sure I'm at every place I need to be when it comes to the ribbon cuttings and so forth. Also, we had some other historical things we'll mention quickly. Historical sports year. And George, I know you're a big sports fan. Tennessee Tech baseball going to the College World Series Super Regionals. Our Baxter Lady Bees basketball team winning back-to-back state champions. Upperman Special Olympics basketball team winning back-to-back years. Coach Dana McWilliams being named the Coach of the Year. The Upperman football team going to the TWSAA semifinals.
Right there.
Isn't that unbelievable?
It is.
All in 1 year in 2018 in Putnam County. Marty, do you keep up with sports?
I love sports. Yeah, huge sports. Tech baseball during that run, everybody was listening to them during the day. We'd have that on during the bank, during the work day, and the whole town was listening to Tech baseball. What a run. Yeah.
What a community. In our final minute here, let's talk about the future. Of course, we have no clue what the future holds. We can all guess and make estimates, but when it comes to 2019, George, for the chamber and for our community, what do you see?
Well, we're stretching ourselves. We're trying to get in a position to with our national chamber to go for Chamber of the Year for a community our size for chamber. But Randy, I know you're a leader in this planning, roads, infrastructure. We're growing. We've got to make sure that we become an even more attractive community one day at, say, 50,000 in Cookeville and 100,000 in our county, because it's happening.
It's
folks.
coming.
And we got to make sure we continue to focus on quality in everything we do. So the future is just so bright, but we don't want to just go to sleep at the switch.
Take any of that for granted.
No, we don't.
We don't.
No, we don't.
Marty?
I think George hit it on the head with the planning. You know, we're no longer a small town, small county anymore.
No, we're not.
I think we have to be looking out 5, 10, 20 years. And I know, Randy, you've done a good job with that, with transportation and that committee. But I think we have to look out there, and we have to expect more growth.
I think it's inevitable when you build all those new houses.
Yeah.
Those people are going to be moving here. People are buying those houses.
And I hope what undergirds everything we're talking about is regional development.
Yes.
We are the Putnam County. We're the center of the region, and we take in the hospital. And so, as these counties as our Highlands partners and others, we have tremendous opportunities. Because let's face it, just being out, anything that happens good in our region, Putnam County is going to benefit.
Going to benefit.
Shop here, live here, go to school here, work here. So we're the center of the region, but it's truly a regional effort also.
And I think keeping that team mentality, as we talked about a little bit earlier, you know, the public-private working together with chamber, and I think we have to keep that and keep
Don't
that
take
in
it for
mind going
granted.
forward.
That's right,
Absolutely.
for granted. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show this morning. We've been looking back at 2018 with Mr. George Halford and Marty Mainord of the Cookeville-Putnam County Chamber of Commerce. I hope you'll join us every Saturday morning here at 10:30 for Today in Putnam County, right here on News Talk 107.7 and 1400 The Hub. Remember, you can also download the WHUB app and listen to us on your cell phone from anywhere you are. I'm County Executive Randy Porter, hoping you have a great rest of your Saturday, and may God continue to bless our great county.